When we look at altars, we think about the marriage altar where people go to get married. They stand at the altar and they say I do. Or we think about the altars in church where we always preach to people, you have to go to the altar, you have to, you have to, you have to. But when we look biblically, altars was the place where God met with man. Altars was a place where God revealed himself to man. Altars were the place where man would go and not know what to expect. He didn't know what was happening. Think about Abraham. He was just being obedient to God. He said, go and sacrifice Isaac. And when they got up there, Isaac, who saw his father do altars before and make sacrifices before, said to him, where is the sacrifice? And Abraham said that the Lord will provide. It was a place where God revealed a side of himself to people that they never knew before, that they never saw. So they experienced God in a whole different way. And it's the same thing for us. Altars is a place where we go when we're angry, upset, where we have to have those hard conversations with God. But altars also have locations. Think about when Moses had to hold his hands up in order for Israel to win. He named that place. He made an altar unto God on that rock, and he named it, the Lord is my banner, because it was the Lord that caused them to win. And he experienced God in a different way, and he made an altar. That is what we do. That means altars have locations as well. Could it be that many of us are not getting what it is that we believe we should be getting from God? Or could it be that we don't know God as we ought to know him, as we say we know him, because we haven't built that altar, that meeting place before God, and he hasn't, and because we've abandoned the altar and we haven't erected altars before the living God? Could it be that we're missing out on sides of God, and we can only speak from a limited from what we know? We can only speak theoretically. In Ezra 3, when the children of Israel come out of exile, and they wanted to rebuild the temple, what happened was that they built an altar first. It was worship unto God. They built an altar and they dedicated that place unto God. Could it be that we haven't dedicated our homes, our children? Could it be that we haven't even dedicated our lives unto God? Could it be that we have abandoned the altar before the living God? Could it be that we haven't put ourselves on the altar? Because Paul in Romans 12, he talks about being a living sacrifice. Where have the altars gone? Where are the people who are supposed to erect the altars? The fathers, the mothers, the patriarchs of the families. Where are their altars, and what altars have they erected? Because altars is the highest form of worship. It's true worship unto God. That's what Romans 12 says. It's true worship unto God. So where are you erecting the altar before God? Or have you just been running around in confusion and not doing anything? Where have you gone? It's time to get back to the altar before the living God. It's time to erect that altar. It's time to go back to the meeting place before God and meet God. This is the word of the Lord.